Good evening. Welcome to the Commission on Disabilities August 8th meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call of the members. Ralph DeCicco.
Present.
David Hahesy.
Present.
Enza Goodwin. Absent. Paul Mazzone is absent. Michelle DeBellis.
Present.
Brian Arciero is absent. And Harvey Corin is absent. Okay, so just for the record, we do not have a quorum present, so we only have 3 of the 7 members. So I know that I don't think we had plans to vote on anything today. It was mostly going to be presenting some information for the viewing public back at home. But we can't vote on anything because we don't have a quorum. So the rest of this meeting will just be for informational purposes. With that said, I know we do have some information to share and some updates. So Ralph, if you want to take it away.
Sure. First item on the agenda is regarding the Commission on Disabilities State of the ADA Planning Grant application and next steps. We did apply for an ADA planning grant for fiscal year 2017, but we unfortunately found out that we did not receive that grant, but we were told and asked to apply for fiscal year 2018, which opened August 1st, and we have resubmitted for the same amount for the planning grant of $125,000. I had conversations with the state, and basically our application was fine. Everything was done correctly, and they had just run out of funds. So that was basically the reason why we did not receive any money on that grant. So hopefully now, this next round we will, and we already submitted 4 days after it opened up. So we've since we've already had the application done, we just tweaked it a little bit and sent it along. So that's what I have for an update on that. And I don't know if anybody has any questions on that. Okay, next is item number 2 is an update on the Commission on Disabilities office update. It's been a long process. Multiple locations that we were trying to go to, trying to find a first floor location that would be adequate for all people of all disabilities, trying to not go on a second floor building. The Veterans Affairs office and the person in charge, Mark Silvestri, has graciously allowed us to use the Veterans Affairs office in the Legion building on the basement floor on Friday mornings from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we're looking to start that on the second Friday in September. We will have office hours, and we would like to try and do it by appointments, but you're always welcome to walk in. And if by any reason that you cannot make that time, you can give us a call at our number, and we'll see if we can try and make accommodations to use the Legion Hall upstairs at another date, depending upon if myself or anyone else from the commission would be able to meet you and if the hall is open. But as of right now, at least as a start, we are going to be using the Veterans Affairs office on Fridays from 8 to 12, starting, I believe it's September 8th?
Be the 8th would be that second Friday.
Okay.
So that's great news, and thank you to you and to everyone else on the commission and to Mark Silvestri for working towards making that happen. I know we've had a few false starts trying to find the right location, but hopefully this should make it more convenient, for people that are looking to get some help. I would like to just point out, we continue to get a lot of calls and voicemails on the Commission on Disabilities line, 781-286-8267. You can call that at any time with any questions or concerns. Although I would like to just remind everyone, since we got a lot of these emails right when we announced it, but it's fallen off since, that if you email disabilities@revere.org, that does go to both co-chairs. I think it goes to the secretary of the commission and to the mayor's office. So if you have any questions or concerns about handicap parking or any other accessibility issues, you can reach out by email as well. And now that starting next month we'll have a physical location to have meetings at, that should help connect people with the help they need. So thank you, Ralph.
Okay, as item number 3 is going to be an update regarding pedestrian infrastructure work around the Paul Revere School and Garfield School, and I'll leave that to Joe Gravelisi, who will give us an update on that.
Sure, so just really quick, you may have noticed a curb cut being installed over by the Paul Revere School, I think last Wednesday or Thursday. It was part of a series of, some of them small, but this was a little bit bigger and more visible, upgrades to pedestrian infrastructure to get ready for the start of the school year. So a curb cut was installed at the corner of Revere Street and Roosevelt Ave. I know that a lot of kids cross the street there, and there's been a concern about it being a safe crossing. So, that's one of the steps that we're taking. And that is ADA compliant curb cut, and the crosswalk will be striped before school starts, and it'll be, for all kids that walk to school of all abilities, make it a little bit safer. The Safe Routes to School project is getting closer to happening around the Garfield School. So this has been long-awaited, state-funded upgrades to the pedestrian infrastructure around the Garfield School. A number of the streets nearby, so upgrading the sidewalks, the crosswalks, and also, of course, having ADA compliant curb cuts, making sure that it's accessible to everybody. The sort of last procedural step that needs to happen is going to take place next week at a city council special meeting, and then after that, the work can take place. I know we're 2-3 weeks away from kids going back to school. So between the new work taking place over at the Garfield and the new crosswalk at the Paul Revere, this should address some of the pedestrian concerns that parents have expressed as they get ready to send their kids back to school. But if you have others, you know how to reach us. All right.
I just have one question on the Paul Revere School. I'm not sure if it's something that's down the works or something that's already planned for the light that's there, the crosswalk that's there. I know it was where it was situated before was where they had the entrance for the old school. I don't know if there's any plans on that being moved to the corner of Roosevelt and Revere Street, because that's normally where there is the crossing guard. So I'm not sure if Julie's doing anything on that.
So that would require MassDOT action. So anyone who's ever tried to interact with a state agency knows that it's a slow anything like that would be a slow process. But I can definitely follow up and see if that's been in the works at all. I do know that, with the crosswalk in place, we'll have a crossing guard there, and it should be able to make it safer. I know that a lot of, students just kind of darted across the street there. Not that this is necessarily related to this commission, but I think people will be interested in knowing that, we'll have a crossing guard there. It should make it safer. But we could definitely look into the light situation as well.
The other reason why I'm asking it that, because they did do the handicap ramps right on the corner there, and the crossing light is so far away from it. So that's another reason why.
Yep, we'll look into it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that or any comments? Okay. As to item number 4, discussion regarding the city working towards expanding the Special Olympics program. Again, I'm going to refer to Joe to elaborate on this for us.
Yeah, so this is very exciting. Enza Goodwin sends along her regrets for not being here. She had a conflict and couldn't make it. But she has been working really hard, along with, I know Jen Duggan is in the audience, and myself and the mayor, to make sure that we build on the foundation that we started last year with Special Olympics, bringing it back into Revere after not having a program here for, I think, over 10 years. So we are bringing back for a third term the Young Athlete program. So that's for the preschool age kids, I believe, 2 to 5 or 2 to 6. I don't know if anyone remembers the exact age, but we'll have the flyer up on the website for that. And it's going to be at the Paul Revere School again on Saturdays. But what's also exciting is that we're building off of that foundation, and we're going to start a soccer program for kids between age, I believe it's 6 to 15, so it's under 15s. And that's going to be also at the Paul Revere School, at the grass field that's there. So the DPW is going to go out and stripe that for soccer. You're going to put soccer nets there, and that'll be convenient for volunteers and for Special Olympics staff that are going to help us out, that they're going to be back-to-back hours at the same location. But this is going to be the first of the big sports programs that we bring in through Special Olympics. They like to kind of bring it along slowly, make sure that we have the organization in place. And Special Olympics Massachusetts was very impressed by the level of volunteer support in the community for the Young Athlete program last year, the level of support from the mayor and from the public schools to make it a reality. And so that'll allow us to build off of it. You know, and ideally, if this goes well, they have a number of winter sports and spring sports that we could look to bring in, and programs that go all the way up to adult ages, which I know are robust. I think in Winthrop, they said they have a lot of robust adult programs, and ideally you can kind of build a pipeline from preschool age kids in the Young Athlete program, learning basic skills, all the way up to the adult level with Special Olympics. So very, very exciting that we're strengthening that partnership with Special Olympics. Should be great for the kids of our community. And within the next day or two, I think you'll see flyers posted here in City Hall and on the city website, and then also going back with students once school starts about the Young Athlete program and about the soccer program. So looking forward to that. I don't know if anyone had any questions or comments or thoughts on that, or Jen, if I got anything wrong, if you want to correct me. No. Awesome, I'm glad to hear that. I just want to re-emphasize how impressed Special Olympics was with the volunteer spirit in our community, and how many parents and high school kids and police officers and others came out to get involved with Special Olympics. You know, I think we had like a 1-to-1 ratio with adults and kids for a lot of the Young Athlete programs, and that's so important, you know, to make sure that the kids have the support they need. So thank you, to everyone who helped make that a reality. You're helping, not only did we make it a success the first year, but it helped kind of convince Special Olympics that we could get a little more support this year and step up our game. So very exciting.
Just one question on the soccer. You said it's going to be back-to-back. Is it going to be the same time, or is it going to be going after?
It'll be right after. So it'll be, I don't remember off the top of my head the times. Jen, do you know?
Was it 8 to 12 o'clock was in the school?
Yeah, if you could just come up to the
Just push
microphone.
the button. You can just push the button.
So the Young Athletes program is going to run from 11 to 11:45 on Saturdays. And then right after, the soccer is going to run from 11:45 to either 12:30 or 12:45. We're still trying to figure out the end time on the soccer. But it'll be right after the Young Athletes program ends.
Thank you. And will the school be open for that also? They'll stay open
Yeah.
the extended time?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I know. I appreciate you taking double duty with Enza not being present.
Item number 5 is just an update of city events for July and August, and Michelle's gonna step in for Enza and take care of this for us.
Under the direction of the Revere Public Schools and in conjunction with the Revere Rec Department and SEPAC, children in the extended school year program were able to enjoy after-school activities during June and July. Some of these events included outdoor fun, along with visits from the Bubble Man, Animal Craze, Science Show, and a DJ party. A very special thank you to Dr. Vadala for running this program. Row, Row, Row in Revere will take place Saturday, August 19th. The opening ceremony and race will begin at 7:15 a.m. at the Point of Pines Yacht Club. An after-party and award ceremony will follow at 1 p.m. at the Marina Restaurant and Bar. This event is to benefit autism awareness in children and families within the community. Our hope is that some of it could also benefit the Little Ricky Foundation, which is an organization that I know helps not only autistic children in our own community, but children with special needs throughout the school system. As said previously, our Special Olympics Young Athletes program is set to begin sometime in September. Be on the lookout for more information and also for all of the information for the new soccer program. This will take place in the fall. Monday night playgroup at the Revere Rec for children with special needs continues to run at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Michelle, for that. Anyone have any questions on that? Okay, next item is item number 6. We have some communications. As I'm speaking right now, you're going to be seeing some pictures that are going to be rolling on the TV. I was contacted from a Revere resident who has an outside electric chair that he's looking to donate to someone who may be in need of it, and it's in great working condition. And he still has it installed. He contacted me, I believe it was right after our June meeting. So that's why I haven't been able to openly bring it to a meeting, because we did not have one in July. So he left it up and running so that it can be demonstrated how it works and that they could take a look at it. If you want any more information on this, or if you're interested, you can contact the Disability Office at 781-286-8267 and leave us your name and number, and I can put you in contact with a resident. And as you can see, I do have some pictures, and I could also email them to you. So you could email us at the Disability Commission's email address, which is disabilities@revere.org, or you can directly send me an email at my email, which is DeCicco, RDECICCO, @revere.org, and let me know that you're interested, and I will get back in touch with you. This is not that old of a chairlift, and it's in great working condition. So hopefully, if you're in need, we can put you in touch with this resident.
Great. If you could email me those photos as well, we'll get them on the website and social media.
Sure. Anyone have any questions on that? The next communication that I have is I've been in communication with MIFA, who runs the ABLE Savings Plan. And what the ABLE Savings Plan does is provides a new way of saving for the current and long-term expenses for eligible individuals with disabilities. So what I'm doing is looking to set up a time that they would come and do a presentation, let everyone know about the program itself and what it entails. I think this would be very beneficial for parents or that have children with disabilities, and it's a very good program. I know it was a long time coming, and it was supposed to roll out, I believe, early in the spring, and it was delayed a little bit. And there's still some work entailing, because I know they're trying to change some of the age requirements on it to try and raise it a little bit. So that it will be able to add some more people to the program. So I'm just waiting for some feedback from them on when we can try and set up a time to get some more information for the residents of Revere. If anyone has any questions on that. Next item is 7 is old business.
I just have one thing on old business in term, we've talked a couple times about Revere Beach and handicap access to that. I did speak before about about having some contact with Andy Backman, who is the Director of Regional Planning for the DCR. And he'd been really helpful with me before in terms of help with Sullivan Field before on Revere Beach in the corner of Revere Street and Revere Beach Boulevard. He helped me get in contact with Tom McCarthy, who's the Director of Universal Access Program for the DCR. They were pretty good about that. We had talked before about the matting that helps people get down closer to the shore. He did, in fact, get two more sections of those mats put in at different places on the beach. The same thing could sort of happen with them. They kind of got chewed up with the sanders and things like that. So that was not as successful as we would have hoped. He did tell me that he'll continue to work with me on greater access and other things that they'll do with it. Everyone knows that they had redone the bathhouses on the beach, and those are better. Those are much cleaner and more handicap accessible than the others. They are going to be building the other one across the street next to the police station. The only good thing is that we are going to be sitting at the table with them. And next year is going to be a better year. The conversation's already started. The introductions have been made. So hopefully we'll be more involved with things next year when they put their budget together and their plans together for next year. There are a lot of things we could do in the future. So I'm trying to get some plans together with this Tom McCarthy. And honestly, what I'd like to do is ask anyone who, if they do have ideas, I have some, and if anyone else has ideas, if they could get them to us at the Disability Commission, I'd appreciate it, so I could include them in the conversations with Tom McCarthy as time goes by. So next year's another year, and hopefully we'll have some better luck. The mats didn't work out so well, and like I said, the DCR has been really wonderful trying to help us, and they really continue to be wonderful. They want to do as much as they can to help us get better access to the beach for the handicapped people who want to be able to use it. So that's my update on the beach, and that's the old business I have on that.
Thank you. Do we have any others? Or?
Any other old business? Any late items? Late item?
I think we all got an invitation to the Disability Summit that the Mass Office of Disabilities is holding. It's going to be this year, this next month on September 15th. I am planning on going to that. That's going to be next. That's going to actually be held after the September meeting, so I won't have anything really to report on that until at the September meeting. And my report on that will be in the October meeting, actually. One thing I did want to mention, though, is one of the people I've been in contact with while I'm making arrangements for that is a woman from Work Without Limits. She's really an interesting person. Her name is Pat. I'm going to butcher her last name, Kastukas. That's a terrible thing. I'm glad she's not here to listen to it. Anyway, she's very interesting, and she, like I said, she is the director of Massachusetts Business Leadership Network, and they do a lot of work. Their mission statement is, I'll have to read it for you so I won't get it screwed up. It offers opportunities for employers to learn, connect, and share best practices to build confidence and success when employers are employing people with disabilities. They do a lot of work with people with disabilities, trying to help them get work, and with employers trying to show people how important it is to employ people with disabilities. And they do have an advisory panel. What I'm trying to do is, I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a seat on that advisory panel and try and see what I can do to try to encourage people, local businesses, and also disabled people locally, to encourage them to see if they can, find employment. There's nothing better for people who are disabled to be able to realize that there is work out there, and for employers to realize that there are opportunities there for them. There are tax incentives and things like that make it worthwhile for them to do it. I know as a disabled person myself that there's nothing more important to you. Everyone's identity is hooked into what they do for a living. And when someone asks you what you do, to say, well, I'm disabled is probably one of the most humiliating things that can happen to someone who's disabled. I was so glad when I got to be retirement age that I could say I'm retired. It's so much easier to say that than to say I'm disabled. That's not a good answer for people. It's very humiliating. And to be able to say you have a job is a wonderful thing. To be able to get a paycheck is an even better thing. And a disability paycheck is not a paycheck at all. So it's something I'm real interested in and hoping that these kinds of contacts will be able to help people do that and help employers find out that they can help people that way as well. So hopefully after September, I'll have some information at the October meeting and we'll have some real success with that.
Perfect. That's what I was going to say. We look forward to a briefing on that in October. And obviously, once again, this is another topic where if people have thoughts on what the city can be doing better on this front or how we can help make a connection for those opportunities, we're all ears. We always want to provide support. So
I hope so.
excellent.
I always hope.
Any others? Yeah.
Any other late items? Okay. Open forum. Anyone in residents have any feedback or any questions or concerns? Joe?
Actually, I'd like to just add one other thing that I think is relevant to this meeting. So a significant amount of sidewalk work has been happening around the city aside from what's happening in the school zones. So hopefully that's something that people have been noticing. That's I think it's 17 streets or possibly 18 streets now that sidewalk repairs have taken place on since spring. I know that a lot of work is taking place on Winthrop Ave, or I think just wrapped up on Winthrop Ave to try to make that stretch a little bit smoother and easier to navigate, which obviously is incredibly important for people in a wheelchair and other people with disabilities. So as has been mentioned, there's about $250,000 worth of sidewalk work that's taking place over the course of this summer that'll hopefully catch up on lots and lots of old issues. I know there's a lot of issues around the city with aging infrastructure, so there's a real focus this year on trying to do as much of the sidewalk work as possible. So hopefully people are seeing a difference with that, and we'll continue to do so throughout the summer and into the fall.
Thank you for that update, Joe. Sure.
I just would like to mention that this year for the Young Athletes Program, we are looking for a head coach. We have a lot of volunteers that want to help with the one-on-one with the athletes, but we really do need one head coach. So once our flyers go out and we start putting it on social media, we'll also include that as well. So I'm just kind of putting that out there. If anybody knows anybody that would really be interested in head coaching the program for the young athletes, please reach out and let us know.
Also, when that flyer is done, if you could email it to me and I'll put it on the disabilities page.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jen.
Anyone else have any other comments or concerns or questions? With that being said, make a motion to adjourn. Second. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, September 12th at 6 p.m.
Thanks, everyone.